So normally with your classes, this would take a solid 15 because they're in groups and they're kind of spitting ideas out and coming up with a storyline. So working individually today definitely went faster, and we're grown adults, so it went faster. So I would definitely allow 15 minutes to do this, and then if they have 5 minutes to talk, isn't that nice too, if they finish fast. So to get some of those little verbal moments out. But at this time, now what we're going to do, so we have all looked at words that we have no clue really what it's talking about, and you guys have made stories, and now we are going to share our stories with each other. So while the person is reading, I expect that all attention is on that person, and I will tell you that we're all going to share today. Sometimes depending on time, because this is one of those things, if you have a whole day, great. If you got 20 minutes and you need to do this, because I have done it that way, where then I just have them turn and share to another group, and I ask if one person would like to share their story with the class, or 2 people. It's one of those things, you can make it as long or as brief as you really want it to be, so that's nice because there's a little play there. But I'm going to go ahead and start us off. This is actually by Ollie's group, because they can't pay attention and they wrote on my thing, so I found this today. So I'm going to read his. So this is actually a student in my class. This is what they wrote, senior in high school. In the Himalayas, there are mountain climbers. Many of them suffer from low oxygen. The birds fly by and begin to disappear. Most of the birds are either geese or ducks. They can survive because of hemoglobin. This is all part of their circulatory system. Birds can make certain adaptations because the air is very thin. Climbers usually wear oxygen masks. They still suffer from headaches and dizziness and nausea. So climbers must have careful conditioning for high altitudes. And that was his. So kept very strict to the script, and some students go way beyond the script. So who would like to go next? Oh, great.
I'm not very creative, but mine's more of a nonfiction article. The Himalayas are a mountain range many mountain climbers love to conquer. The issues mountain climbers have is the area at high altitudes are low in oxygen. But the beauty of the area outweighs the risk for them. In the high mountains, they can see birds flying by and maybe even some geese and ducks. The problem lies in the amount of oxygen they have available. Hemoglobin in the blood is what allows red blood cells to carry oxygen, which is needed by all cells in the body. Our circulatory system is the network of roads that allows oxygen to be able to get to all parts of the body. Animals that live in the Himalayas have adapted to the air since the air is very thin. People who venture to these mountains sometimes have to rely on oxygen masks if they start experiencing headaches, dizziness, and nausea. Before deciding to climb these mountains, mountain climbers must do careful conditioning for high altitudes.
Great. And so sometimes at this point, after 2 people have read and they sound so similar, I'm kind of like, okay, is anybody just dying because they went really creative and they're dying to share? If they all kind of sound the same, I'm kind of like, okay, that was 2. So anybody just have something different that you want to share. And once again, depending on time, if you just want to honor everybody, great. But would you like to go ahead and read yours for us as well?
Sure. It's very similar to hers.
Okay.
The Himalayas are the tallest mountains in the world and are the result of the Indian plate hitting the Asian plate. Mountain climbers often choose this mountain range to climb as their ultimate challenge because the air is so low in oxygen and you can see birds flying by as well as geese and ducks. Your hemoglobin in the blood of your circulatory system must adapt to the low levels of oxygen because the air is very thin. Climbers often have to use oxygen masks to breathe. If they don't, they will have headaches, dizziness, and nausea. It takes very careful conditioning for high altitude climbing in this mountainous region.
Awesome. Okay, so very good job. And you could tell my kid did not know what hemoglobin was, but he knew it had something to do with the blood. And so we have also, plugged all of that in. Chris, is yours very similar? Is yours different? Would you care to share yours?
I can share it.
Okay.
It's similar.
All right, let's roll.
High in the Himalayas, mountain climbers struggle to breathe air that is low in oxygen. They see birds flying by and wonder how these geese and ducks are able to survive in a low oxygen environment. The answer is in their hemoglobin, the oxygen carrying molecule in red blood cells. Migratory birds have circulatory systems with adaptations to allow them to function where the air is very thin. Humans do not have these adaptations and therefore require us to have oxygen masks. Without our technology, we would suffer from headaches, dizziness, and nausea. Mountain climbers must engage in careful conditioning for high altitudes in order to survive.
Very
Awesome.
good.
Very good.
Very good.
I feel like you might have read this, sir. All right. So the next thing that you would do is obviously, oh, right, you did great. Here's your trophies, right? We all did a great job. Now we're going to actually read the article. So this is what you have. You might recognize some terms, and yes, this is how I copy things. So this is read here, and then it goes here and here. And then just take some time, let's read through it, and I will read along. I'm a fairly slow reader, so usually when I get done reading, I can allow for maybe about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then usually everybody's done.